Welcome along to 101 Part-Time Jobs. Every single one of our episodes is available ad-free at our Patreon, patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs. I know that there are all these messages trying to sell you things that you may or may not want. So for £4 a month, that's around $5.50 US, you can get over 450 of our episodes and every single one in the future, featuring all the brilliant guests that we have week in, week out, completely ad-free. You can head to patreon.com/101 Part-Time Jobs, get all your episodes bother free, and you support us directly. Cheers. Jobs.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
You're tuned into Auto Intelligence, live from Auto Trader, where data, tools, and your preferences sync to make your car shopping smooth.
They're searching inventory.
Oh, yeah.
They find what you need.
They're gonna find
and
it.
You can make a budget for your wallet to help you succeed. Pricing's precise and true.
So true.
It's smarter car shopping.
Ooh.
Just for you.
Oh, it's just for you.
Ooh.
Find your next ride at autotrader.com. Powered by Auto Intelligence.
Being a new band right now is so fucking hard. You're competing with the Velvet Sundown, for Christ's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Great live.
Yeah. And so you're competing with these, robots, and then you're also competing, with legacy acts and an algorithm that is, pushing millions and millions of songs through it and picking 10, 20. Yeah, it's a beautiful day in Southern California. Brilliant.
You hang out there much? You a homebody in the backyard?
I am. I have a succulent garden that I tend to. And, now that I have a little baby, I have to keep myself busy in all kinds of ways in the house or outside the house. And it's good to have reasons to get outside.
Big time. Do you know what? If you can live somewhere that you kind of like, that's a real touch.
Oh yeah.
I think that took me a long time to learn. I was like the couch surfing guy for a few years, and and I look back and I was like, I have no idea how I did that. But it's not really good for you. I don't think, if you're that person in your own town, it's another thing traveling, playing music, obviously. But if you're in your own town doing the couch surfing thing, it gets old pretty quick for you and people around you.
I don't know. I've always had a fondness for couch surfing and bringing people in my house and being like, sleep on my couch. And then they end up staying for months, and you're like, "Oh man, this has really gotten out of hand." But you develop this great, I love waking up and having someone just on my couch look over and be like, and I'm like, "Shh, don't worry, just gonna go make coffee."
It's a Paul Rudd and Jason Segel film, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. But at my age, once you get, I'm 38, so once you get to that age, in my 20s, couch surfing, I had a legendary couch at my house. We actually used to have a couch at my house in CalArts that was called, the couch was named by a friend of mine who lived there for a long time. This is like a house that was inherited, through the CalArts years, but the couch was called Fucking the Swan. And it was a legendary couch surfing couch.
Did you do the punk house thing? Did you where the towns that you were in California were there punk houses?
Oh, dude, tons of punk houses. I never exactly did. I never lived at the punk house, but I was at the punk house constantly.
Yeah,
drinking, going to shows. And all my friends were just living together. There was a really great one in Highland Park that's still there 15 years later, called Barf Space, and that's been around forever.
The fire hasn't gone out at Barf Space yet.
Shout out to Daryl. Yeah, no, he cracks the fucking whip. He keeps that place in shape, and he has for years. But yeah, I had a house in Elysian Park that was kind of a punk house, but it was a little more sophisticated. It was a beautiful location, but it was like up in Elysian Park, like in the park proper, which is the biggest cruising zone in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And so there was a lot of, if you went walking around in the park at any hour, like a dude would pull up and be like, "Hey, don't be weird. Can I suck your dick? Don't be weird."
Damn. This is scary.
Yeah, but you get used to it. And also it's like, they're dudes that don't want to get caught. They're not going to do anything.
Right. They're subtle.
They're pretty timid.
They're horny. They want to get off. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not scared of gay people. I'm more I just don't want people to, I just don't want anyone to shout at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't want them saying that. But, it's happened to me many times in Los Angeles. One time a guy almost ran me over. So he ran a stop sign, and then he said, I was like, "Dude, what the hell?" I was walking my dog, and then he said, "I'm so sorry. Look, I'll suck your dick, and if it makes it better." And I was like, I mean, I appreciate you trying to make up for almost running over me, but I'm going to decline.
That's spreading the love. That's being extra neighborly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your home then. You grew up in Southern California. You're there.
Oh, yeah.
You feel it. You feel it through and through.
What you're looking at right now this is where I grew up, basically. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not this backyard, but this environment, this sky,
Yeah. I think I started this show because 101 part-time jobs, it's like, that's what musicians do, that's what writers do, that's what people who are trying to, make stuff do, you end up doing, right? And I think a lot about like location and physical location and like identity. And I think it must be exhausting running around so much. So to be able to stay down in one place and hunker in, and maybe that means that you end up being in a community that you can pick up side shifts while playing gigs in the week, or however it works, to kind of understand your surroundings. That's a good place to start kind of building a life where you can just hammer away at writing, whether it's music or books or whatever you're doing.
I mean, yeah, cities like Los Angeles are great because they have so many, there's multiple aspects to the entertainment industry, and there's all kinds of jobs that need to be had. Like if you're living in a city like Nashville, it's mostly music, right? It's like the whole is. If I go to a coffee shop, the barista that's making my coffee is going to be like the best pedal steel player in town, and then the person that is bussing tables is going to be the best drummer in town, and it feels threatening in that way. That's why I don't go to Nashville. But here, there's so many different little niche aspects to the industry that you can kind of like crack into, and like I've worked so many different kinds of jobs just through that, I
think of like being a PA. I don't know, I think of LA, Hollywood, it's like, okay, everyone needs a PA, everyone needs a personal assistant. Yeah,
everyone needs a fucking punching bag, like a
take
coffee all
meal.
The shit for the first AD. First AD to dump hot coffee on, and no, I had that job. I was a PA for a couple of years, just working on commercial shoots for a friend of mine, and it was fine. It was cool. I enjoyed it, but the call times are like 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're there for however long they need you. There's no like, oh, you get to go home in 8 hours. It's like, oh, the shoot's gonna just keep going, because we have to shoot it all today because that's what the studios let us do. So
do you feel that? Do you feel like the hierarchy? I just finished watching that the new Seth Rogen, the studio. Do you see that?
I have not.
It was good. It was about like a movie sort of studio, and obviously that's like a very isolated example, but it was, I mean, it's very, very hierarchical, in the way that if you're in the middle of the pile, you're there.
I know when I'm at the bottom of the pile. I've only been at the bottom of the pile. I've never been higher than that. And it's like any other like entry level job. Yeah, where everyone is just like, yeah, I remember being you. It sucked. Fucking sucked. But
did you have any particularly bad days doing that?
Well, I just had a couple shoots that were like, I remember going and doing a shoot that ended up being 18 hours. Something like that. Like I got in at 5:30 and I think I left at 5:30 a.m. and I left at 3:30 a.m. So 20 hours. Something like that. And then a few weeks later, I was at a protest in Los Angeles and I got arrested with a bunch of other people, not just me. And the amount of time that I was being processed in jail before I was let go was shorter than the shoot that I did.
Well, you're not getting paid for being in jail.
That's true. That's true.
Where does music fit into all of that? Because I think about like how long it takes to get good at your instrument or get like to a level where, I mean, in songwriting, I mean, you're a prolific songwriter, and that's a lot of hours.
Just doing music?
Yeah, playing guitar, writing songs, going to practice, being at home writing songs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about it as putting in the hours. Maybe on tour I think about it like that because it is more straight ahead. Like we're just doing one thing a day. We're just driving to the show, playing the show. Those hours feel accumulative. But everything else just feels very natural to me. Just like sitting around, I just write songs all day, all night, just for fun. Like I don't do it with like, oh, fuck, I've got to go write 10 songs today is really stressful. It's like, no, I'm just like washing dishes and walking around,
Yeah.
A song comes in my head and usually it's like, it's like a kind of mental illness that is helpful.
It's condition.
Like the songs just come in and then I'm like, what?
Have you
what
gone
the hell
through,
is this?
You must have gone through different stages of like trying to write and then maybe, or just different periods of how they come to you or when they come to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just a lot of misunderstandings about inspiration. Inspiration, the way people have explained it to me, is never the way that I've experienced it. Like, it's not like you're being struck by a beam of like, maybe sometimes it's kind of like that, but usually it's like these little tiny moments throughout the day or throughout the months and years that where I'll just get a kind of curiosity about something. It's not really like, oh my God, I've figured something out. It's like, I'm this, 3-chord thing is kind of interesting. What if I did this? It's always like, what if I did this? And then it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. But it's like a tinkering and it comes more from like a curiosity about how music can be, how music can change, how you can, participate in like the tradition of songwriting and bring something to the conversation that hasn't been said before.
Yeah.
Because that's like the whole purpose of it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the closest thing I can relate to it is like when you read a book, like usually fiction, and you're like, oh, damn, I didn't know I needed that. And then you end up talking about it to a friend or family or whoever. And then you end up having like a really great conversation and you feel better for it. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's what life is supposed to be. You're supposed to be learning and trying and asking questions and being curious.
Yeah. Yeah. People forget that these days because of the convenience of infographics and probably podcasts as well. You know, just like making things information, like unverified information so easily accessible. The feeling of going and searching out a record, I mean, that just to me was the best feeling. Like I would look in the early days of the internet, because there was no internet when I was a kid, at least not in the sense that it is now.
Yeah.
Like that's all I was doing, was going on a search engine, whatever it was, Sherlock at the time, or Explorer, or Navigator. You know, they all had these names that were so like, you are on the precipice of like great discovery, and this world is so like full of information that it has been largely inaccessible, you know, unless you go to a library. And now it's at your fingertips. And so I would find all these records that I could have never found before. But now that like search engines are called Safari, you know, where it's like it's contained, it's controlled, it's all about convenience. And so the culture of information, like of knowledge, and you know, the way that we absorb knowledge has changed, and it's not about the great search for new things, and you know, it's about having, you know, a algorithm that finds things for you, searches for you.
Yeah. You've been off social media for a few years, or you didn't do it for a long time, at least, did you? With Wand, there wasn't really an Instagram and stuff. You know, you were playing. You were playing.
I think that's a big, that was a very conscious decision in a lot of ways. At that time, when I was in my early 20s, I was like partying a lot and meeting a lot of people, but I didn't feel like the music was getting much better. And I thought like, well, if I took all this time that I'm spending on social energy and I just like put that on just writing and recording the best music I can possibly do, then, you know, it'll be a much better use of my time.
Yeah, right. Right. I often think about how like the Instagram, social media is the way to tell people about something you've done, but it's very easy for anyone to get sucked into just that second part of telling people what you've done, and the balance to fall on that and not the doing of it in the first place.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of emphasis on telling everyone everything and not on like, I don't think I see these things as they're little blips, you know, these novel fucking forms of social communication. I just don't think, I mean, they're already sort of falling apart because of all this AI shit. Because they're consolidating all of their massive workforces to build AI systems, and so the social media part, I don't know if you can feel it, but I can feel it. It's not working anymore. It's becoming this kind of, I don't know, broken space.
It feels like people
wasteland.
are becoming like contempt of it. I think, you know, people have already kind of mistrusted it for a few years, and it's only kind of going in that direction.
Well, at least it used to give me like a little dopamine boost every now and then, but now it's like, it's just punishing. The algorithm is punishing.
What do you think will happen with AI music? Did you just read about that band? Was it the Velvet Sundown? And they had like they had an amount of, I mean, they had more like monthly listeners on Spotify than like this band from the UK that I absolutely adore called Divorce. And I love that band. And I just used them as reference, and they had more plays than this band, you know, and it was like such a mind fuck that this AI group had, at least on Spotify and, you know, an isolated app, had these 6-figure followers, quote unquote. And I was like, okay, you know, that was been the big news story over the weekend. You know, did you read about that?
I did. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't listen to the music, but
I mean, it's great. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, there have been instances of things like this happening in Spotify for years, where there will be some artist who is from Panama and they have no followers. They have a SoundCloud and they've put out 2 tracks. And then those 2 tracks for 2 weeks will be bigger than Michael Jackson's entire catalog. Like shit like that, where it's like, is this just a money laundering scheme that you fucking guys have going on? Or you're just cleaning money throughout the world and then like running playlists to rack up, you know, listens or streams,
royalties, yeah.
And but with the Velvet Sundown thing, I mean, I was kind of amazed that they had the AI included tape hiss. That detail surprised me. But there's all this with streaming, regardless of the AI aspect of it, streaming has changed the way that people compose music, because there's all this data, like user data, that you can actually look at. You can see when people are turning your music off and switching. And so the whole algorithm is designed and prioritizes music that has a certain kind of waveform, has a certain kind of instrumentation. It'll usually be like an acoustic guitar for 10 seconds. And that, you know, that will get people's attention. And then the vocal has to be in the first 20 seconds. And like, there's no harmonica or this or that. And labels actually look at this information and then they present it to their artists and they say, you need to make something that will, trigger the algorithm so that your music becomes more ubiquitous. Yeah. Which is fucking crazy. That is that to me is more evil than the Velvet Sundown or whatever. Because that's actually humans being like, okay, I guess I gotta make a song this way.
That's the result of it. I mean, Wings starts off pretty strong, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, but that's like, that's kick the door down. Kick the fucking door down.
That's such a belter. I remember hearing that. So that was my introduction to your solo stuff. And it's like, fuck yeah, what a fucking opening tune. And the singles from the new one sound mega as well. Lou Reed, it's wonderful, man. Like it's sweeping.
Thank you.
And in a way, it's like, you know, music that I think of guitar music, and like you think you heard everything with guitar music, but then something comes along and it's like, oh, this feels fresh. I feel like I've never heard this before. What do you reckon it is that goes into? Do you think that's still? I mean, I'm sort of projecting this idea. I'm saying it, but I feel like that comes from just writing so much. You're 38 now. Started writing when you were a kid. Like I feel like that feeling that we're getting from the speakers is that experience. Is that time put into writing songs?
Totally.
Not that it's like a meritocracy and it's a 1-for-1. You know, an hour meets you dial up one level, but it's like just the experience.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that comes from the accumulation of time spent doing a single thing is confidence, like, and trust. And I do think that that's something that is super important to writing music, is you really have to fucking trust yourself and be like, no, this, like, you have to listen to yourself, to what you're playing and what you're putting out, or what kind of songs you're writing. Because it's so often that I think artists, and I do this, I have done this a lot myself, is I will feel like I have to write a certain kind of song, and I'll hear an artist that's like, you know, put out something that I really like, and be like, oh, I really want to do something like this. And then when I go to write, something else comes out, and I go, what a disappointment. This should have been like this other thing, but instead it's just this thing that sounds like me. And it's like, well, no, that's not a disappointment. This is the thing that someone else is going to hear this and say, oh my God, I really need to make something exactly like this. And then they will be really disappointed when they can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's like, you got to trust, even if it's like God, whatever kind of music it is, like, even if it's, I don't know, just whatever comes out, you have to trust that and be like, oh, this is actually what I make.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big believer in, like, you could get one song and 100 people different playing it, and it would be 100 different ways. Like, it has to be.
I think that great songs can endure any kind of karaoke interpretation and survive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite lyric on the record? Mine is, I'm nicest to strangers. That line, because I'm nicest to strangers because I don't know them. I was like, yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. You know, the way you can be super nice to someone at the coffee shop and come home and, you know, maybe not be appreciative of you know, your family or your friend or whoever it is that day, because, you know, that's human nature.
Because you know them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I relate to that line. A lot. There's a couple zingers on this record. Well, there's one line in the last song that goes, I was drinking with the Ku Klux Klan, now I'm 3 sheets to the wind. I like that one a lot. That was a zinger.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, there's a couple. I'm watching Naked and Afraid, and I am naked and I'm afraid of you.
That's good stuff. Is that something that you're is that a fairly new thing for you, the humor? I'm trying to think. Is that like something you're stepping in, something that you've got into, you've grown into?
I like to think that I've had a pretty developed sense of humor since I was a small boy, and I was a bit of a class clown in my time.
Yeah.
But maybe in terms of introducing it into the world of music, yeah, I think since like Pale Horse Rider, it's just important, you know? It's important to laugh. The world is so fucking insane. What can you do but laugh at it?
Where are you touring this year? Where are you excited to go to?
Well, we're playing at Pickathon. We're doing some shows. Yeah, we're playing at the Pickathon Festival in Portland, sort of adjacent to Portland, on a farm. It's really nice. It's like kind of like a no-growth festival, a little bit like maybe Green Man. It's like a similar kind of thing, but smaller than Green Man.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing some Midwest, East Coast dates in September. Those aren't up yet, but they will be by the time this goes up.
Yeah. I'll link to your website in the description.
Oh yeah, I just made a website.
Yeah.
Cory-Hanson.net.
You're at that stage. You've got the website. You're officially online.
That's right. I mean, websites are so antiquated. It's like something that nobody has anymore, cares about. Nobody will probably look at it, but I put some time into making it. I made it myself. I'm
looking at it right now. I like it. Did you did the drawing? You did the doodle?
I did.
Yeah, that's art. Or do you always feel like you're going somewhere? Do you feel like you're like settled and like you know what's going on? I'm trying to think of like playing music as being your main thing now, and like what that feels like. What does it feel like?
I mean, it feels kind of at times very chaotic and very like, holy, I have a kid now, so it's like, holy shit, what the fuck what do I think I'm doing? I'm just gonna water my fig tree while I'm doing this. Fig tree needs.
I think that's
water.
the answer to the question, isn't it? Watering your fig tree.
Yeah. I just get stressed out and I come into my garden and look for things to do. But I feel pretty lucky in what I do, and I also feel like it's like, oh shit, like everybody should just do what I do. Which is it's a bit of a long game, and at times it's kind of a grind. But I make a living so far, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And I don't answer to anybody. I don't have to talk to anybody when I put out a record besides, Drag City folks, and they just go, okay, we'll put it out. No problem.
Yeah.
And I don't have a lot of I don't have management. I don't have a lawyer, really. I mean, I have an attorney I could call if I needed legal advice or help. But there is this problem in the industry, and I see it a lot with new bands, because being a new band right now is so fucking hard. You're competing with the Velvet Sundown, for Christ's sakes. And
Great live.
Yeah. And so you're competing with these, robots, and then you're also competing, with legacy acts and an algorithm that is, pushing like millions and millions of songs through it and picking 10, 20. A lot of people will hire PR firms that'll just put you on playlists on Spotify, and that's their whole purpose. And a lot of people will put a lot of money into PR. And I think that's always a huge mistake.
Yeah. Yes, that's something to learn, right? You must have learned that at some point.
Of course, yeah. But I've learned many, many lessons, and if there's any advice or wisdom that I can give, I would say just keep it scalable and small, like manageable from economically, like from the get-go. And just, it can scale, however, as long as your focus is just writing great songs and playing great shows, and everything else is like, you're not thinking about PR, you're not thinking about fucking like hiring the right producer, the right mixing engineer, like who worked on this record that did really well last year. It's like all that shit is diminishing returns. You hire a producer who made a record that was big last year, and then you put out this record the following year. That means that sound is already 2 or 3 years old, and people move on so fast. I think that you gotta trust yourself. You gotta get together with your mates, get into a fucking basement, throw your phones out the window, and develop a cool, interesting musical language together, and then present that to the world. And if nobody gives a shit about it, they might not give a shit for a long time. They might give a shit, 10, 15 years, 20 years down the road. But like the world, more than anything, needs great songs.
For sure.
If you have a great song, you can kind of do anything. Everybody needs good songs. And the Velvet Sundowns, they're not good songs, man. They're just meant to fill the gaps between great songs.
I think a lot about how like more music will make the world a better place, and that's like such an earnest thing to say that I'd be embarrassed to say it out loud, but here I am, say it. But it's true. It is fucking true.
I think that I truly believe that everybody has a great song, at least one great song in them. and that song will come from like a lived experience that is unique to what you've gone through and what you've seen and how you see and how you hear and your own melodic sensibility, your rhythmic sensibility, whatever, your lyrical sensibility, and you at least get one good one. Everybody does.
You got a few good ones.
Well, some people are, like I said, have a sort of illness where they just can't stop writing. But it's like music is so great. It's like you don't need an education. You don't even need to have a high IQ. You can be a really stupid person and write an incredible music.
Hell yeah.
I am proof of this. I am proof. I am an idiot. And I you know, I can get by.
Do you ever write lyrics not for music? Do you ever write poetry, basically?
I mean, I write constantly. Not anything I would ever publish, but I find myself constantly writing out of habit. And just, you know, because ideas, they sort of collect, they accumulate. So I feel like I should be putting things down constantly, just so that, you know, if I'm working on a song and I'm trying to finish the lyrics and I'm like, there's just this one line is not that good, I can go back in my books and find something.
Yeah, nice. Nick Cave does that. He just writes. He does pages, and then he'll go back and take words or lines.
There's a stupid guy that writes great music. Total moron. He's doing great. He wears a suit every day.
Yeah, he's got a nice house.
Lots of people. No, he seems fine.
Breathe deep. Imagine your legs more limber in Duluth Trading Double Flex Denim. Envision euphorically squatting for that can of suds, bending for your toolbox in a state of bliss, lunging for your laser level on a whole new level. Relax and allow the flex to fill you with ability. Find your inner flex in Double Flex Denim only at Duluth Trading.
Speaking of funny, I'm a big fan of like the work fuck ups, you know, especially if you're working lots of different jobs at the same time and doing them for one shift at a time or a few weeks at a time. I feel like that's sort of ensues some like pretty big work fuck ups, you know, whether it's like wrong change stuff or just breaking something at work or organizing something wrong which causes a lot of pain or financial difficulty for someone else. And have you got any particular days that stand out of
man, I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes. I've fucked up a lot of things for a lot of people in my sad work history. I mean, this is why I'm a musician, is because I'm so inconsistent with work. I am incredibly lazy when I'm doing other people's throwing out other people's garbage and shit. There was a time, believe it or not, when I was an art teacher, like an after-school art teacher for the Eagle Rock Center of the Arts. And we'd go to a bunch of different schools every week and teach like drawing, painting, sculpture, and we'd make things, we make dioramas, and we make masks and whatever. But there was a class that needed filling, and I really needed the money, and it was a dance class. And so my buddy and I were like, okay, let's do this fucking dance class. And we just showed up, and it's a classroom full of little girls, and there's just two, you know, mid-20s dudes putting on a boombox and being like, all right, let's dance. And it was just a fucking disaster. It was horrible. They were screaming at us. They were crying. They were like, I thought you were going to teach me ballet. And I was like, holy shit.
What moves you do? Were you flossing? Was it just general?
This was pre-floss, man. This was back in the day. So I don't know. My mom,
BF.
I thought I could get by because my mom's a dance teacher, a high school dance teacher.
All right, so you got it there, yeah.
So I was like, Mom, give me some tips. And she was like, yeah, I'll teach you, I don't know, some steps. And I don't even really remember. I've sort of repressed this memory because it's so embarrassing. Yeah, it was a total disaster. I don't even know if we completed the class. I tried. I really tried.
You got to do that for the Cory Hanson TikTok. Here's what Charlie XCX is doing. Is the apple dance. The dances just seem to become part of the music vernacular now, apparently.
I know. I think that it's so cringy for me to do that. I just can't I can't look at my son, after doing a thing like that and be like, you're supposed to respect me? You're supposed to look up to me? And I'm on TikTok doing this?
Yeah. Well, he's the one. It's his food that's going on the plate. You can tell him that.
Yeah. I'm dancing for you.
Cheers for watching. This is 101 Part-Time Jobs. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, and all podcast apps. We've done interviews with Aurora, Kneecap, Idols, Lauren Maybury of Churches, and loads more. So tap into 101 Part-Time Jobs on Spotify, Apple, and all podcast apps.